Hi guys, welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia and I'm coming to you from the UK. Today is Thursday, the 23rd of January 2025. I'm so glad you're joining me today to talk about some knitting and a little bit of crochet. If you're new here, then welcome, and if you're coming back, thank you so much. I will just quickly mention that beyond my usual Instagram, at the Happy Knitting Podcast, I now also have a Blue Sky account. So if you want to find me there, I am Happy Knitting Pod over there, and I'm still figuring it out. I think all of us are, but you're welcome to join in, and I'll probably share a bit more of my making over there. But the YouTube podcast, the YouTube part of this remains unchanged, so don't worry about it if you're not interested. All right, should we talk about some finished objects? This will probably be a short one because once again, I am on my lunch break and I don't have much time. But I did want to show you some finished objects. The biggest one is, of course, this. This is the Nebula sweater by Andrea Mowry, who is Drea Renee Knits. I talked about this for many weeks, so I won't go into too much detail. But I did use whole super soft held together with a mohair, which was from Gebhard Kid Seta, which I really enjoyed. And as you can see, I did finish the sleeves. I made them sort of bracelet length because, as you can tell, I have quite a big watch which gets in the way with really tight and long cuffs. So I like a bracelet length, and in full honesty, this has not been blocked yet. I think blocking will give this a lot more shape. It was just, if I blocked it yesterday, it wouldn't be dry today to show you. So you're getting the unblocked version. As you can see, even unblocked, it has a lot of positive ease, which I love. I think with blocking, that's gonna get even nicer. And yeah, I'm just really happy it's done. The first sleeve went quite quickly, and the second one was a bit of a slog, but it's done. So I'm happy with that. And surprise, I also have another finished object. And these are some socks that I knit for my son. It was really cute. He really liked actually another yarn. He liked this yarn, this rainbow yarn. Of course he loved it. That I'm knitting socks out of at the moment. And I said I might not have enough of this yarn to make him socks. I may or may not, we'll see. But he decided he needed some socks anyways. So he picked some yarn. And the yarn that he picked was an installment of the Indie Yarn Club minis. I am a member of that club, which I am not sponsored. I am paying for it with my own money. And they always send you 3 mini skeins, and these 3 came together, and my son fell in love with them because they are purple. They're blowing out a bit. It is more purple than pink. But he fell in love with this color and decided he wanted those socks. And he told me exactly what order the colors had to be in, and I made him these socks. I made the first one on my day off last Friday, and then I think I finished them over the weekend, and I will admit I'm a bad person. I have been hiding them from him since finishing because he would want to wear them straight away, and they would not look nice enough to show you anymore, and like they would just disappear in his room somewhere. So I'm showing them to you now, and then he can have them later today. These are about a size 29 EU, 29 to 30. So I did 52 stitches, I believe, on a 2.25 millimeter size 1 needle, and my regular short row heel, which is the shadow wrap. And yeah, as you can see, I just did block stripes, and these in the end used up about 40 grams of yarn. I just sort of eyeballed it to make sure I had enough of each color, but I needn't have worried. And another fun idea I had while chatting to a friend was that my son would love to wear hand-knit socks to school, but he can't because they need to be grey. And I'm not making him grey socks. But we realized what I could do is I could knit socks similar to these where the top bit is grey or black or whatever. Probably I would do grey. And then I can have a rainbow or really colourful parts at the bottom of the socks because those will be in his school shoes. If you don't know, in the UK you need black serious school shoes even at 4 years old, which is crazy. So he could have colourful socks that would be a bit more fun for me to knit as well, and they will be subtle at the top. which he's really excited about this idea, about his new secret socks. Sorry, my work laptop is right there. So yeah, I think that'll be a project that I start soon. He did pick some more minis. He picked like a royal blue and a neon yellow. So I just need to find some gray yarn for the top, which I think I have some somewhere. And then I'll make him another pair that he can wear to school. So yeah, these are done, and those are my 2 finished objects of this week. Let's just mute the work and talk about some works in progress. Since I showed these to you anyways, I mentioned these socks last week and I have finished the first one. These are socks for me. They are rainbow socks using a sort of self-striping, self-patterning yarn. As you can see, I've done the heel in the main yarn rather than a contrasting heel, but I used the yarn from the outside rather than the inside of the ball to make sure I wouldn't interrupt the striping. So the striping on the front is uninterrupted. And I finished the first one and I have started the second one. Basically, I've just finished the rib. And I had to do some rewinding because for some reason I was pulling from the inside of my bowl and then eventually that fell apart. But this is the yarn that I am using. It is Woolly Hugs Paint Socks in the colorway 203. Yes, 203. And I mentioned last week how I'm really, really enjoying this yarn, and I still am. So yeah, 1 sock done, 1 more to go, and these ones will be for me, and I'm really excited about them. And I also mentioned that my husband wanted some socks, and he also didn't get the rainbow socks because I'm keeping those for myself. But then the other day I needed a pick-me-up, I think on a Monday. It was a very sort of Monday. So I needed a happy cast on, and I really want to cast on another garment because I don't have any on the needles right now. But I just wasn't ready. I didn't have the mental energy to figure that out. So I cast on with some yarn that you may remember. I got this in one of the Oh Yes or No boxes, I believe they were called, from Zakami Yarn last year, where for a relatively humane price, you got sort of 4 skeins of yarn, and you could, I think I mentioned that I'd like sort of lighter weight bases, but you could sort of specify but not really. So it was a bit of a surprise one. And I decided to cast this one on. And this, as you can see, is quite variegated. And I thought this has to be socks or a Musselburgh hat, but my husband didn't want a Musselburgh hat, and I wasn't so sure about it myself, so I cast on some socks. However, this is the yarn, labels, Zakami Yarns, hand-dyed in Edinburgh. It is 100% merino, which I did know. However, just when I was about to start this podcast, I noticed that it says non-superwash, which, I didn't realize this. And I have since promised these socks to Kai, and I throw all of my socks in the machine. I do sort of wash them together and make sure I do a cold cycle, and I am reasonably careful with them. But I'm not going to hand wash socks. So yeah, I've just realized this. This is a sock so far. But I think I'm going to keep going because... And yes, I didn't even finish the row. This is ridiculous. If I undid the socks, I'm not really sure what else I would do with this yarn. This was sort of my least favorite skein out of the skeins that I got in my box. Yeah, I might have to have a think about it, but I think the sock itself looks quite nice actually. I used Filcolana Aweta for a contrasting cuff and heel. So the heel is in, I've just turned the heel, I'm on the foot, and like I said, Kai really liked these, so these will be for him. I might just finish them and hand wash them, or I might be really careful and see what happens. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. It doesn't feel like a non-superwash base, and I'm wondering, sometimes you can wash. I do sometimes wash non-superwash things on the machine as well, but with socks I just don't tend to be super careful, so it would be a shame to knit these and felt them on the first go. So yeah, we'll have to see, but this is the sock anyways. yeah, just another plain vanilla sock. And the yarn, I don't think it has a colorway name because at least I can't find one on the label. Maybe because it was in this sort of surprise box. Maybe they were just sort of taster skeins and things they tried and then didn't actually keep. Or this may be a variation of a colorway that didn't quite turn out the way it should. I don't know, but it looks very muted. But then it's more obvious in the skein. Before I caked it up, there are flecks of mint and like different sort of color flecks in there, but they don't show up very much at all. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this one, but we'll keep it for now and see what happens. Right, the only other project that I have been working on knitting-wise is my scarf, which I've shown many times. I won't go into much detail. This is my brioche scarf in the Rico Mélange Decay colorway 17. And I picked it up here the other day, and then actually I'm like, no, I think I was here when I last showed it to you, so I just knit on it for one night. But it is growing. I am into my third ball, and a couple of people have asked me, how many balls of yarn do you need for this? I bought 5 just because that's what the lady in the shop told me. She said 5 if you want to do fisherman's rib, which is what the original scarf was in that I saw. 4 if you want to do a simple ribbed scarf. So I went with the 5, and I think that may be accurate, but you may also be able to get away with 4. It just depends. But yeah, that is my brioche scarf, which I am still incredibly excited about. And the yarn is this, like I said, Rico Mélange Decay, and this is what it looks like, full of crazy colors. But I have also been doing a little bit of crocheting, and apologize for the reaching, I just have everything all around me. But I have been dropping my crochet hook and working on my Magnus throw. So this is a throw pattern that was released as a kit from Lion brand yarn, and I got the original kit with the original colors because I really liked it as it was. And I mentioned, I think recently, that especially in the last year or so, I've started to enjoy following color suggestions or even buying kits, just because it takes that sort of brain space of choosing materials and colors away sometimes, and that can be quite nice. So this is a Lion brand blanket. It uses Lion brand Scarfy Light and Lion brand Wool Ease. And if you look up Magnus Throw, you'll find the colorway names and numbers and all of that. But as you can tell, it is getting quite large. In fact, I think I may be finishing this soon, which is very exciting because this has been on the go for a long time. It has this sort of like tassel-y fringe going, which I am doing as I go rather than doing it at the end, because I think that would be very painful for me. I am using, I think, a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And yeah, I have been working on this quite a bit, and this is so soft. This is so soft and cozy. So part of me really wants to finish this in the coming days, just so I can finally use it, because this will by far be my softest blanket that I have, and it feels really, really, really nice. Essentially, the Scarfy yarn, which is the sort of self-patterning one, is a kind of blown structure, so it's really sort of fluffy, whereas the Woolies is more your normal plied yarn, and that combination just makes it really, really nice. So yeah, I have been working on this, and I might try to finish it tonight or tomorrow. It just sort of depends on how long I want to make it. I'll have so much yarn left over either way, but I don't think I want to keep making this much longer. I think I am close to done. I haven't checked the original sort of size of the blanket, but yeah, I think I have basically been lying under this while I crochet on it. So that's a good sign. It is almost done. And lastly, if you're also interested in embroidery, I thought I'd just quickly catch you up. I mentioned last week that I got this crochet embroidery journal from my sisters. They gave me the fabric for Christmas, which is from Stitch Doodles here in the UK, and it has one section per month. So you can, fill those in as you go. And I finished January, as you can see. And then funnily enough, I signed up, I think before Christmas, to one of those trial things for an embroidery magazine. This one, Love Embroidery. Again, not sponsored. I think I got something like 6 issues for £12 or something, so I thought I might as well try that and get some inspiration. And lo and behold, the January edition came with a piece of fabric for another journal. So now I have 2. But this one, as you can see, it is not pre-printed, but the magazine gives you a lot of different symbols to use if you want to, and obviously you could also make your own. And I started another one. And this one, I got carried away because I found it really fun picking the symbols and using my little friction pen to draw them on there. And the stitching is very quick, especially because I decided for this one to do 1 color per month. So I have done January, February, and March, which isn't the idea. You shouldn't be doing that, but I think I'm going to keep going because this is so quick and so fun, and I'm really enjoying it as well. And this is basically like a free project because I'm just using leftover threads that I have anyways. I happen to have the right size hoop. So yeah, I would say that test subscription, those £12 have already been worth it. So now I have 2 of these. For this one, I'm using 1 thread of the yarn, whereas for this one, I'm using 2. And obviously, as you can tell, for this one, I am making it much easier for myself by only using 1 color and making it a bit more simple. But I think it could still be really fun. And you will laugh at this. This was my first time using a friction pen, which I had at home anyways, which you then erase using heat. So you iron it to erase it, which works perfectly well. You can see the blue and the pink. I've already erased it. I'm still working on the green. But when drawing on it, the first time round, I started on the wrong month because I'm an idiot. The second time round, it looked really, really good, except I did one thing that I chose to remove. And I dropped my iron on the whole thing, so I basically erased it all over again. But the third attempt worked, so yeah, here we go. Just another little project. Basically to keep me busy until I can start February on my big one. So I've gone from 0 stitch journaling to 2 at the same time, but here we are. So yeah, you guys, that is it for my crafting for this week. The only other thing that I can mention is that I did purchase yarn for the Glow Hair, what's it called? Westnet's Glow Along, his Awesomer Gossamer shawl, which I mentioned last week. So do let me know if you're also joining in. Obviously, it's completely up to you, but I would love to know if there are some other podcast followers out there who are working or going to be working on the shawl. I have I've tried to make this a bit more budget friendly, but it isn't incredibly budget friendly because you need 16 balls of mohair. So I bought some Mayflower mohair silk yarn, which is still somewhere between Denmark and the UK. And I can't wait for it to get here, but I think it'll take a while. I think the official cast on is February 6th or something, but you can already start now and buy the pattern. So I think as soon as that arrives, I'll be doing my mohair glow along thingy. But yeah, it's taking a while, but I'm really, really excited about it. I am basically recreating a kit that my friend sent to me, and I really like the colors. So I'm just doing that. I hope it's always hard matching colors when you're looking online, but hopefully it'll work. I think it'll work either way because you're marling colors anyways, but I hope it's going to be sort of what I imagine it to be. And of course, I will show you that as soon as I do start it. And yeah, it would be fun to sort of knit along with you guys if any of you are joining in as well. Right, I think that is basically all I have in terms of yarny, knitting, crochet. We've covered all the bases except for spinning because I just haven't gotten around to it. I would love to have more time to do all these things, but at the moment it's just been really, really busy. And I think part of that is work, part of that is having a kid, and yeah, I keep hoping for quieter times, but I'm not really sure how they're going to arrive. So I'm just crafting whenever I can. Yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. So I hope that wherever you are in the world, that you are safe and healthy and doing well, and hopefully you have some yarn to play with. Do let me know what you're knitting on, what you're planning to knit on, any other crafts you're doing, and I shall see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Happy knitting. Bye.